Friends, today I would love to talk to you about the parable of bucket versus pipeline. Most of the people in the world spend their time for money. The salary is the revenue stream or the revenue system in their life. When we stop working physically, we stop the revenue stream. How about you create some revenue streams that will not dry out so that you no longer work rest of your life? I mean, no longer trade your time for your money. This is what the rich people do in their life. Today I would love to talk to you or introduce you the parable called the parable of the bucket versus the parable of pipeline. Once upon a time, two ambitious young men named Pablo and Bruno lived in a small village in Italy. Both had a great dream in the modern world. In the modern language, the American way of saying both had an American dream. They were willing to work hard. They were looking for an opportunity. One day, the opportunity arrived. The village decided to hire both men to carry water from nearby river to a cistern, a tank of storing water in the town square. Both were given a bucket. "This is my dream came true," said Bruno. On the other hand, Pablo was not sure about it. He said, "My back is aching, working all day carrying the water from a long distance, and my hands are blistered from carrying the heavy buckets." Next day, Pablo said to Bruno, "I have a plan, my friend. Let's build a pipeline from the river to the village." "A pipeline? No way. No one heard such thing. No one built this before. We could make more money by bringing more buckets. Don't waste your time thinking about this. I have a great job. I can carry 100 buckets a day, and I am $1 rich each day. By the end of the week, I can buy a new pair of leather shoes. By the end of the month, I can host a party. End of the week or end of 6 months, I can buy a new car. I can buy a small hut or small house, so on and so forth. I also have 2 weeks paid vacation in a year." Is that familiar to you? Pablo was not discouraged easily. He patiently worked hard, day by day carrying the bucket, and part of the day and weekend building his pipeline. It was really hard to dig a ditch in the rocky soil. The rest of the village started to mock Pablo, calling him with the name Pablo, the pipeline man. Bruno, on the other hand, was doubled his revenue every day. He followed his plan by buying fancy things and enjoy the party. People started to shout praise to Bruno because he was lavishly spending his money and paying a good tip at the restaurants. First few months, Pablo had nothing much to show of his effort. Even the pipelines were buried under the ground. His work was hard because he was even working in the weekend also. 1 inch turned to 1 foot, then 10 feet, then 20 feet, then 100 feet. He said to himself, "Short-term pain equals long-term gain. In time, my rewards will exceed my efforts." Days turn to months, and even it turns to 6 months. Then a day, Pablo realized his pipeline was halfway finished. "Now I only need to walk halfway as far to fill my buckets." Pablo used the extra time to work on his pipeline project. On the other side, Bruno's emotions started to change. He became sad. He said to himself in anger, day in and day out, "I am doomed to carry the buckets day in and day out." Finally, the big day arrived for Pablo. His pipeline was complete. The villagers crowded around as the water gushed from the pipeline. Now the village rejoiced because the water started to flow continuously. Then they even signed a contract with him to run the pipeline to each of their homes in the village. They started to make fun of Bruno now, started calling him the bucket carrier. Day in and day out, the pipeline started to bring revenue for Pablo. A few months later, Pablo visited Bruno and said, "My friend, I have a business opportunity for you. I have a system now. I learned to create this system. We can probably put a pipeline to the rest of the world. If you can join me, we can do this together. We could together make a small percentage of every gallon of water that goes through these pipelines." Bruno finally saw the big picture. Years and months passed, their world pipeline project pumping millions of dollars into their bank accounts. Often, when we start thinking in line with building a pipeline, we hear a lot of negativity. I don't have the time. Many people fail building pipeline. Those who get early into this business makes money, and today it is too late to invest in that project. This is what I know, and this is what the best Ivy League college taught me. Pipeline is a scam. Remember, all of the above comes from a bucket-carrying mentality. We live today in a bucket-carrying world. Here the question is, are you into bucket carrying or are you building your pipeline? I want you to just go down and subscribe to my channel, as well as put your comment below. What is the pipeline you are building? People cannot often undo what they see. There is a phrase called, "What the monkey see is what the monkey do." When I saw growing up, all that I have seen was bucket carriers. 100 million bucket carriers cannot be wrong. It is the model the school system teaches you or train you. Go to the best bucket carrying school to learn how to carry the best bucket. Work really hard. Eventually grow up to have the bucket carrying mentality. Recently, my father come to know the fact that buckets eventually dry up. It is also called the time for money trap. Remember, one pipeline is worth 1,000 paychecks. Some of us also misunderstand between wealth and income. Pipeline is self-sustaining. In the world of project, pipeline are always lifeline. Recently, when I was talking with a friend of mine, we were talking about Henry Ford. Invented his first car. The rest of the world was thinking about how can I or we can make or increase the speed of horsewagon. In the world of job insecurities, in other words, we are hired today and fired tomorrow. The pipeline is a job security for you. It is what the lesson we can learn from the $1 million friend in our neighborhood. These are the lessons I wanted to point out today with this video. Job securities are all illusions. It is not there. It never exists. Creating different pipelines are the best secret for your freedom. Financial freedom is the key to set yourself free. Small actions equals big results. Always remember, we live in a world where bucket carrying is encouraged, or it is a mentality developed. Bucket will never solve your problem. If you don't carry the bucket, you have no paycheck. One pipeline equals 1,000 paycheck. In the Bible, in the book of Proverbs, chapter 6, verse 6 to 8, it says, "Go to the ant, you sluggard. Consider its always and be wise. It has no commander, no overseer or ruler. Yet it stores its provisions in summer and gathers its food at harvest." Friends, thank you for being in our space. in my space. Thank you for subscribing. Will you please share this one video with one of your friends and let him know about this? He may be struggling or working hard with his bucket carrying job. What he may need is a motivational video like this that can encourage him, help him, motivate him, or help him to be a better person. Help him to create a pipeline for him. Will you please share this with your friend? We live in a bucket carrying world. Let's develop pipelines so that our friends, our generations, our family, our church, our community will be better, will be benefited. They will increase in their capacity. Thank you, thank you, thank you.